Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Still that I can't share the screen. Okay, now right. Right, so today we are doing the last part of the first unit. Right. Theory of Self by Carl Rogers. Right. So that Carl Rogers is a prominent psychologist who has forwarded many theories, especially in psychology. So that he has forwarded this theory, self, in guidance and counseling. So you don't need to worry about this because sometimes you may feel this is very difficult. So just for your knowledge, you can just go through them, right? The theory part is essential, but there are some other parts that expands the theory. So then don't worry much, right? Okay. So then the theory of self by Carl Rogers is applied to counseling, right? And it revolves around the following concepts. Revolves around means that it circulates around these concepts, right? So then according to theory, the client has the ability to determine the problem. So then this the theory of self says that the client has the ability to understand the problem. Now, if a client has a problem, so he has the ability to understand it and to identify the causes, the root causes to the problem. So now sometimes that the problem is when we have a problem, we can't understand what the problem is and what the root cause. But here, according to the theory of self by Carl Rogers, he says this client can understand his problem and even he can find the reasons for the problem. Then finally, he can find solutions to his problem, right? So then the only thing that he needs is a comfortable, acceptable atmosphere. So then who should provide this comfortable and acceptable atmosphere? Who should provide that?
By the counselor.
Yes, by the counselor. Right now, sometimes maybe a child comes to you and the child tells everything that is in his mind. So then, before that, now imagine a child comes. Now imagine now you are working in a separate classroom as a counselor. So the child comes to you. So then, how can you accept the child when a child comes to you? How can you welcome the child? So will you say that, okay, I'm busy now. Can you wait until I come? So you have to wait about 15 minutes until I finish my work. So will you tell the child like that?
No, ma'am.
No. How can you accept the child?
We'll let them to come comfortably and let them to sit and
yes, you have to accept him in a very friendly manner, right? Okay, Buddha. So then sit, will you? So we will discuss your problem. So you can just pat on his shoulder, stroke his head, right? So then you have to show that you have welcomed the child in a friendly, you have accepted him, right? Then, so then after coming that you can give him a very comfortable place to sit. Then you have to listen to him without keeping everything aside. So then you can, while listening, you can just ask certain questions as an encouragement, Okay, then what happened? So after that, so like that, you can give some, encourage him to tell more. Then you can nod the head, show facial expressions. You have to show that you are eagerly waiting, you are eagerly listening to him, and at the moment, he is the most important person to the council. Right? Then only that he feels the trust upon the counselor and reveals the problem. So then that is called comfortable and acceptable atmosphere. So then the client feels easy and he feels to reveal the problems to the counselor. He feels trust towards the counselor. Right. Then according to this theory by Carl Rogers, the theory of self, client is mature enough to understand his personality, his strengths and weaknesses, right? So then sometimes we think the children, they can't understand their problem. We have to provide the solution. But according to this theory, it is not. So they say the client is mature enough to understand the problem, his strengths and weaknesses. So then according to this theory, the counselor's intervention is minimal. So what is the duty of the counselor? Only to provide a comfortable, acceptable environment. So then he encourages the client to find a solution to the problem. Right? According to the theory of self, the role of the counselor can be outlined like this. Right? The counselor's role is he should present himself as an open, right? So he should open, genuine. So the counselor should have a genuine interest to help the client. client and consistent person. He should be very stable person. Stable, trustworthy person. And he should not reveal whatever the client says with him, with the others. Then he should respect the client. Respecting the client is very, very important. So the first thing that should do is respecting, accepting. That's the most important thing. Then only the client feels that the counselor has the real earnest to help him. Right? So then the counselor should be able to understand the client's viewpoint, right? Counselor should be able to understand the client's viewpoint and adapt to his process of thinking. Yeah, client hitana vidhiya therum gannon issalam. So then counselor has to understand the client's viewpoint. Clients mona vidhiyata hitanne. So accordingly, the counselor has to adapt. Yeah, hitana vidhiya podak wenas karaganna. Right? That is, we called, earlier we discussed empathy. So putting, what's that, getting into the client's boots or shoes. That means that we should feel how client feels, right? Then, when we make it complex, don't worry a lot. Describe Carl Rogers' theory is based on 19 propositions. That means something to think of. So, first one, all individuals are the center of the changing world. Do you believe that? When the individuals, do you believe that? The individuals are the center of the changing world?
Yes.
Or somebody else?
Yes, individuals.
Yes, individuals. We as individuals, we can change the whole world. If we change ourselves, we can change the whole world. As an example, if you do not throw garbage at the beach when you enjoy and when you go to the beach, or whenever you go out, if you don't throw garbage to the environment, then if every individual behaves so, the environment will be very neat and beautiful. So therefore, continually keep evolving along with their environment. So these, when the individuals change the world, so continually the environment, so they evolve with the environment. They evolve, they develop with the environment. So now, if you remember the railway stations sometimes back, how do you see the railway stations sometimes back? Railway station, it's dirty, so there's garbage everywhere. Even I remember once when I was at Fort Railway Station, a child dropped all the wrappers, that means chewing gum wrappers, on the spot that where he was standing. I was angry. So because nobody, that even the parents, they did not consider it much. So then, but now, how do you see the railway stations? Then go the railway stations. Not the Fort railway stations, but if we consider about other railway stations, they are very neat. So they have grown flowers, even the toilets are clean. The environment is much better than before. Why? Because the individuals have changed. And if you remember that earlier, the washrooms, sometimes we can't go to a public washroom because people, they did not know how to use them. But now they know how to use the commodes, squatting pans. They know that they have to flush water. Now they have much evolved with the environment. So the environment has become a much better place. Right. The next one. Every individual reacts to a field or stimulus as it perceived and experienced. So then stimulus means uttejakayak. So we react to stimulus. Now, as an example, when you go by the side of what can you say? Fried rice kade. So how do you feel? So you feel to eat because of the smell that comes from that place, right? It's a stimulus. So then every individual reacts to a field or stimulus. So then we perceive, so that is called reality. We perceive it as our own, right? We perceive or experience it as our own. The individual reacts as an organized whole to the reality. So this reality means that we perceive, and experience. So we perceived, as we perceived and experienced, so we perceive it or we experience it as a whole organism. So we react to this stimulus or the fields. When a person reacts to the reality, a part of the reality becomes a differentiated part of the person or the individual. So according to this, when a person reacts to the reality, what is reality? This perception of the stimulus, ප්‍රතිචාරය අපි එක ග්‍රහණය කරගන්න නැත්නම් අපි ඒක ගන්න අත්දැකීම තමයි මේ reality එක කියලා කියන්නේ. So then we react to it. When we react to a reality, a part of the reality becomes a differentiated part of the person. A reality එකේ කොටසක් differentiated part of the person or the individual ගේ කොටසක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. Right. Next one. So this is the theory, right? What he has explained to us, the theory of self. And the individual forms a structure of the self. So that we forms a structure. Structure when he interacts with the reality and with others. So now when we interact with others, we have our own structure regarding that. This self, therefore, plays an important role in forming the pattern of relationships and interactions with others. So when we are interacting with others, when we are interacting with others, we have some kind of our own structure of doing that. Sometimes we are very friendly with some people. Sometimes we feel, so these people are not that much good to associate. So like that, you have some kind of structure in yourself. So it is very important when you are playing, when you are interacting and when you are having relationships with other people. Every individual has the basic tendency to strive and actualize. Strive means try. So every individual tries and achieve things. උත්සාහ කළා දේවල් ලබා ගන්නවා. Actualize කියලා කියන්නේ අපි ඒවා achieve කරගන්නවා. And it is done so to maintain and enhance itself in the changing environment. So in this changing environment, sometimes we have to achieve certain things. We have to work hard. We have to try hard to do that. As an example, education. So now if you consider about the education sometimes back, people were not that much educated. So they did not have technology. But now you were born with the technology, you can handle technology well. So you have changed the environment because you have worked hard, you have studied, and you have achieved certain things. So you have changed the environment. Then the best manner in which the behavior of an individual can be understood is by understanding the internal self of the individual, right? So then the best way the behavior of an individual can be understood is, first you have to understand yourself. Next one. Behavior is nothing but the goal-directed attempt. What is behavior according to self-theory? It's a goal-directed attempt. Now, you are trying your best to achieve your goal, that is to achieve your educational qualifications. So then behavior is nothing but the goal-directed attempt of an individual to satisfy its needs. So your need is to complete this degree and another qualification to your list of qualifications, or maybe to get a promotion or to establish in your job, right? So behavior means goal-directed attempt. Behavior is always accompanied by an emotion, right, which further facilitates the maintenance and enhancement of the individual. So how does our behavior change? Because of our emotions. Or first we have thoughts. Thoughts change our emotions. Emotions change our behavior. So as an example, now imagine you feel that your best friend is angry with you. So how do you feel now? What is the emotion now? Can you guess? Now you feel your best friend has changed. She's unlike previous days. Now she has changed. So what is your emotion? Yes, tell. What would be your emotion? Are you very happy that your best friend has a different behavior than before?
No.
Sadness.
Then how do you feel? What's your emotion?
Feel sad.
Very sad, disappointed. It causes your behavioral change. How do you behave then? So you just run to her and hug and say hi. Or how do you behave now? Because you have that emotion. You are sad, disappointed. Your thought is, my friend has changed. Then what is your behavior? So you may not show a welcoming behavior. So you may just say hi, and you may observe what will happen. So like that, behavior is always accompanied by an emotion. Because of the emotions, our behavior changes, right? Which further facilitates the maintenance and enhancement of the individual. Every individual experiences values. So we have values in the society, in families. So values means now the good things that we follow. So these values may be experienced directly or by taking over or observing the values of other individuals. Sometimes you may follow them directly because you have taken from your parents or from the families. But sometimes you observe the others, how do they behave, and you take those values and you follow, right? That is the theory of self. Next one. Experience are a part of the life of an individual, and as these occur, now actually that's true, eh? Experiences are a part of the life of an individual. And as these occur, they are symbolized, perceived, and organized into some relation to the self. Finally, they have some relation with us. Or ignored and denied. Symbolization because the experiences are considered inconsistent with the structure of the self. So we have some kind of structure when we are associating people, when we are behaving in the society. So if we feel no, that I don't need this experience, and ignore because you feel that this is inconsistent, this is not related to my way, right? You can do that. Individuals adopt a specific behavior that becomes consistent with the concept. So then sometimes if you feel that the individuals adopt a specific behavior that becomes consistent with the concept of the self of an individual. Concept a self concept behavior adopt so you follow that. Sometimes an individual may behave in a specific manner because of certain experiences, and this behavior is not consistent with the self. Sometimes you take some experiences to you adopt certain experiences thinking this may match me, so you adopt it, though it is not consistent with you. So it is not actually matching you, but you adopt it, right? Every individual needs psychological adjustment, especially when all experiences of an individual are consistent with the concept of the self of the individual. So then, every individual needs psychological adjustment. Psychologically, we have to adjust, right? So if we do not adjust, what will happen? But psychologically adjusting now these days, our students have their first year exam next week. Now some students, they are behaving differently. Even today, that some of the friends of one girl came and said, now this girl shows a weird behavior. She smiles at walls and sleeps all day and gets angry when somebody says something. So then that girl, so what has happened to her? She was unable to adjust psychologically because now she's scared of the exam, right? So every individual needs psychological adjustment, especially when all experiences of an individual are consistent with the concept of the self. So when these experiences go hand in hand with our self structure, so then we can adjust to the psychological needs. But psychological maladjustments may also take place when an individual denies all the experiences. Sometimes we have psychological maladjustment. Maladjustments. I told you before that takes place around him and not being related to or consistent with the self concept of self. So then you show some weird behavior because you could not psychologically adjust to it. This leads to psychological tension, which an individual may often experience. So if you can't adjust psychologically to the changes, so then what will happen? It causes psychological tension. When an experience is not considered consistent with the concept of the self of an individual, it is considered to be a threat. So experience අපිට self based structure එකත් එක්ක යන්නේ නැත්නම්, so it is called a threat. අපිට threat එකක්. These threats make it difficult for an individual to maintain his self-esteem. So then we can't maintain self-esteem is atma abhimane. So then these threats don't allow the individual to maintain the self-esteem. When threats are absent, certain experiences that were previously considered inconsistent with the concept of self can be revised and assimilated as an experience of self. Threats threat එකක් නැහැ. So then some experiences තියෙනවා කිය අපිට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැති අපේ self එකත් එක්ක යන්නේ නැති. So then we can assimilate අපේ එකට ගැලපෙන්න එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Certain experiences we can revise and assimilate as an experience of the self. An individual, after perceiving and accepting all consistent and inconsistent experience of the self concept, can understand the fact that he is different from other individuals, right? So, and every individual is unique. So that's why I say every individual is unique. So the way certain things are perceived by me are different to you. Sometimes in certain situation, I will be very patient, but in your case, sometimes you may get angry. But another person, he will be quiet and be patient. So like that, the things that we absorb, the perceive, are different from one person to another. That's why we call individuals are unique. When an individual assimilates several experiences in his concept, assimilates means saman karagannuwa, tamanta galapena vidihata, right? It's been he undergoes a change in the system of values acquired by him. So that the certain things he adjusts and acquire, and he is adjusted to the system, and he becomes a balanced person. That is the theory of self by Carl Rogers. Okay. Theory of self was basically developed as the foundation of therapy. Therapy means treatment. So to me, theory of self was developed as a foundation of therapy. Therapy treatment is a foundation of the theory of self developed, which involved the emotional state of an individual. So this theory of self is related to the emotions of the individual. According to Carl Rogers, the attitude and the contribution of the counselor plays an important role in making the therapy effective. So then if an individual undergoes some kind of problem, as we discussed, like threats, right? So when certain behaviors are not consistent to the self, so then there may be changes in behavior. So then, according to Carl Rogers, the attitude, and the contribution of the counselor plays an important role in making a therapy effective. Then only a treatment becomes effective, right? Needs of counseling for students, right? So then, if we consider about counseling, so there are two main reasons why counseling centers were established in schools by the government. Can you guess what are these two reasons? There are two main reasons for establishing counseling centers in schools. Tell me one thing, tell me these two reasons if you can guess. Yes? Can you guess? Just guess. Guess, Karanika.
Ma'am, help students to adjust to the school environment with
No,
the different.
no, there are two major reasons for this. One is tsunami. The other one is the war, right? So then due to war also, due to violence, war, people in the war-stricken area, the students, especially the children, so they were undergoing vast mental agonies. So then as a result, so they needed counseling. That's why they established counseling centers in the schools, right? Okay. Right. Counseling services in school and colleges need to be administered to meet the administrational and educational needs of the students, right? So some students, we discussed what are the educational problems children have. So they have educational problems, psychological problems, individual problems, phobias. So there are so many. Counseling is needed by students for the following reasons. So we'll see what are these reasons why these children need counseling. Counseling helps in the overall development of the student. So we discussed about that when we're talking about guidance also. So the main aim of guidance and counseling both is development of the students, total individual development. It ensures that the students make proper choices of courses. Now, as an example, we discussed about career guidance. So then, through career guidance, so these experts help them to identify the students' strengths and weaknesses and help them to select the courses that they can, if they want to achieve their aspired professions, so they help them to select the courses. It ensures that the students make proper career choices and do not go wrong, right? So now from the counseling center, career guidance workshops can be organized for the students, those who have completed O-level exam, A-level exam, so that they will decide which courses to be followed and acquire necessary qualifications for the world of work, that matching with the world of work. It facilitates the students in the vocational development. So then they will follow the courses, they will acquire knowledge, skills, qualifications, they will apply for relevant jobs, and they will prosper in that job. Right. It motivates the fresh graduates to crave job they like. So then if there's anybody who is interested in software engineering, so then through this counseling work, at this counseling workshop, that he will identify what are the courses I have to follow. So what kind of skills I have to improve, what kind of jobs are available in the world of work, even in Sri Lanka or in other countries, how can I apply? So if I get the job, how can I prosper in the job? How can I get promotions? What are the qualifications I have to acquire? So like that, then you will so the counseling center may direct you to achieve your expected job. Guidance and counseling services are necessary to help students face the situations of life and adjust to their environment physically, mentally, as well as emotionally, right? So then we discussed throughout this lesson the assistance of guidance and counseling, that how does it help the individuals, right? So then guidance and counseling, it is very much helpful for the students to face the situations of life. So we face sometimes abuses, bullying, so the problems in the family due to economic issues, sometimes exam phobias. So if it is in a workplace, that sometimes the harassments from the hierarchy, that means the top people, maybe that the harassments from the team, people in the same level, so like that. So then guidance and counseling help the people to face the situations of life. Adjust to the environment, adjust when physically, mentally, as well as emotionally. Otherwise, what will happen if you can't bear them up? You may try to commit suicide or harm yourself. It motivates students from weaker sections of the society to perform well at the educational and vocational level. So then sometimes before the career guidance workshop, so you did not have any idea of I have no any hope or any ambition. So if you have this kind of attitude, sometimes your attitudes may change after the career guidance workshop. It encourages the students to take the right decision in case of confusion and turmoil. Then it may help you to take the right decision. So now, these days that we are interviewing students for the new recruits, but most of them have done some other basket subjects for O levels in order to get 9 A's. So then the students who have done literature for English, so they will be selected, but others that they may not. Even they have A pass for English, they may not get selected for English course because the priority is given for those who have done English as a subject for A levels and those who have done literature for O levels, literature at O levels. But many of them don't do literature because they know if they do literature, they can't get either A or B pass. So, but anyway, finally, so when they come to interviews like this, they fail. Right. Then it encourages the students to take the right decision in case of confusion and turmoil. To prevent wastage and stagnation of educational and vocational resources, right? So then sometimes some people waste time without following any course. So after leaving school, they stay at home. They do nothing. So then, in order to prevent that wastage and stagnation, so then you have to be aware and take the right decisions related to your future. To identify the students who need special help and assistance. So then guidance and counseling unit. So they can help, they can identify the students who need special help and assistance. So like that I encountered today, that girl needs special help. She needs special assistance because she needs some kind of treatment from a counselor. Counseling ensures that students spend their leisure time and time spent outside the classroom in a productive manner. So then rather than wasting time, so then counselors can make the children aware how to spend their leisure time effectively, productively. It helps to minimize indiscipline among students. So then it can minimize indiscipline. Because the counseling teacher can organize some workshops, awareness programs, and give them some targets and introduce them some courses to follow and teach them how to use the leisure time effectively, productions, how to earn money. So these things can be done. Okay. So then school guidance and counseling in Manitoba, in Canada. So this is the explanation related to that. The guidance and counseling of students is an integral component of the educational mission of the school in Manitoba. So in those schools in Manitoba, guidance and counseling of students is an essential component. Atyavashyama කොටසක් එයාලගේ school එකේ. Right? Guidance and counseling services and programs promote the personal, social, educational, and career development of all students. So we have to accept that actually guidance and counseling services, if they are maintained or if they are continued effectively, they promote the personal, social, educational, and career development of all the students, right? So then they can identify the students who have problems, they can talk to them, help them to overcome the problem. If they have problems related to selecting a job or selecting a course, they can help. Even if the children have problems with sitting for the exam, how to answer questions, they can help. So even if the children have some problems with their peers, the friends, that so they can get some solutions. So there are so many things that can be done by the guidance and counseling unit, right? Information for schools, students, and families. In school, the school counselors have specific duties and responsibilities and carry out several activities that address the needs of the following. So then they can organize and implement programs for students, parents, colleagues means the staff, and professional associates means that those who are working in the place, school and community. So they can organize lots of awareness programs, right? So related to family problems, related to economy. So I remember when once we organized a school and community project, and we invited some officers from the agricultural department. So they came and made the community, that the parents of that school, because during that school and community project, we go to schools, sometimes far away schools. We select some schools, the students are divided, and they stay there about 3 days. They do painting, repairing these broken desks and chairs. They construct activity rooms, right? So they decorate the environment, or they grow plants, prepare herbal gardens. They work with the community, that even people in the village also, they come and help. They provide food. So they so these things can be continued from the guidance and counseling center, right? Right. That guidance and counseling unit, okay? Working with students, this is very, very important. So one of the main responsibilities of the school counselor is to look into the matters of the students, right? The school counselor offer their professional services to meet the educational, academic, career, personal, and social needs of all students in school setting, right? So when there's a counseling unit in the school, the counselor can help the individuals for their educational problems. So sometimes there are students with educational problems. So tell me that how can the counselor help if children have educational problems? Imagine there's a child who is very weak in mathematics or English. So how can the counselor help that child? Just think and tell me. How can the counselor help to overcome that problem, that educational or academic problem? Okay, tell your answer.
Counselor can create the awareness of that particular subject that is easy. They can do it like that way. The counselor can change the mentality of the student.
Okay, so that is also, that would not be enough, that yes, the counselor can do that. Apart from that, what else can the counselor do?
Counselor can let them to appear assessment test.
Or else the counselor
talk with the students what the difficulties are.
Yes. Or else the counselor can discuss with the particular teacher who is teaching that subject and direct the child to get more individual attention from the teacher, right? The counselor should develop and deliver guidance and counseling programs. Yes, that counselor has to do these kind of programs in the school, so they can invite some other expertise for awareness programs. school counselors need to address the diverse needs of the students through their specific expertise. So there are different students with different needs, so they can cater to them by organizing different activities. They have to work within their professional boundaries, yes, because that they can't go beyond that. They have certain boundaries when they are working, right? So then when the school counselor feels, so sometimes when they organize certain activities, so they have to get permission from the principal, get the support from the other teachers. So then like that, they have to, they may encounter a lot of problems. Even some people may not agree, they may not like. So therefore you have to face these problems, and there are certain limitations, boundaries when you do certain things. Right. So when the school counselor feels that he cannot meet the needs and demands of the students who need special service, they should refer the students to outside counselors, right? So I told you yesterday, it is one of the ethics in counseling. If the counselor cannot help the client anymore, client තවදුරටත් උදව් කරන්න බැයි නම් counselorට මොකද කරන්න ඕනි? So you have to immediately stop giving counseling and refer the child to an expert person, right? Okay, now there's a question. We'll see whether we can do it in groups. Okay, so can you the breakout rooms තියෙනවද කියලා? Maybe. Okay, doesn't matter. So you have to do it individually, right? So now there's a question. At the beginning of the year, the grade 9 class teacher tells her students, I do not differentiate students based on their family background. family background, abilities, appearance, or qualities. I treat everyone alike. This year, you all should determine to perform better than last year in every aspect. I will help every student at my level best. Part 1. How do you identify the human quality distinguished by this teacher? So what is the human quality of this teacher? Next one, write 4 positive thoughts that you assume which will be arisen within students who listen to this teacher's statement. So now, if we were listening to her words, so how would we feel about that? 4 positive thoughts. Name 3 counseling skills that the teacher should possess when he or she works with students, and explain how those skills will be useful using examples. So as an example, if the teacher wants to if the teacher wants their students to overcome certain problems, so teacher has to listen to them very carefully, attentively. So that is a very, very important thing. So that is one of the skills, right? So like that, shall I give you 10 minutes? You do it individually, and we'll discuss the answers. Okay, can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, mother.
Okay, okay, right. Shall we discuss the answers? I think now the time is enough. Are you still writing, or could you find some answers for the first 3 questions? Hello, students. Shall we discuss the answers?
Okay, ma'am.
Right, okay. Now, at the beginning of the year, the grade 9 class teacher tells her students, I do not differentiate students based on their family backgrounds, abilities, appearances, or qualities. I treat everyone alike. This year, you all should determine to perform better than last year in every aspect. I will help every student at my level best. How do you identify the human quality distinguished by this teacher? What's the human quality showed by this teacher?
Motivation.
Motivation. What else?
She's free of
Treat every student alike.
Yes, treating everyone alike.
Awareness.
What is that?
Making awareness of students.
Making awareness of students. Any other answers?
She
she's
is very fond of helping every student at her level best.
Those are also part of this thing. So what is the whole thing that it says?
Yeah, she's free of bias and fairness always.
Okay.
Respect.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So they all,
Favoritions,
what's that?
not paying favoritions.
Okay. Any other answers?
Respecting the uniqueness.
So all these things are part of this, everything. That means treating alike, respecting the uniqueness. Then, so all these things are part of this. So if we take as a whole, the quality this teacher showed was unconditional positive regards. It is called unconditional positive regards. Unconditional positive regards means කිසිම ළමයි ගැන කිසිම අඩුපාඩුවක් කිසිම වෙනසක් සලකන්නේ නැතුව එක විදිහට සලකන එක. That is called unconditional positive regards, right? REGARDS. So when a child comes to get counseling, the teacher doesn't think මෙයා මේ ගමේ ඉන්න චණ්ඩියාගේ පුතාද මෙයා මේ ඉස්කෝලේ ඉන්න නරකම ළමයාද. So he doesn't consider about all these things. For him, this child is another client like all the others. Right. Write 4 positive thoughts that you assume which will be arisen within students who listen to this teacher's statement. Tell me 4 positive thoughts. ළමයින්ට මොන වගේ positive thoughts එන්නේ මේක අහුවාම when they listen to the teacher?
Students may think, try their best.
Okay, they will determine to work hard to achieve their goals. What else?
They'll get motivated as the teacher supports.
They will be motivated because they feel that we are not isolated. Our teacher is always there to help us. Yes, another one.
Students may think about the teacher will guide us to come forward.
So they have faith on the teacher that the teacher will help them at any moment if they find it difficult. Okay, what else?
They started to trust the teacher.
They will trust the teacher. They will build trust towards the teacher. Any other?
They will like the subject.
They will like the subject. They will love the teacher. That's all. So they will feel a sense of security in the class. Teacher sense of security in the class. So they will determine to work hard to achieve goals as the teacher promised. Then they will have supportive feeling. So like that they are not isolated and helpless. So there are somebody with them. Then they will love the teacher, love the subject. So teacher shows respect and honor towards the students. So he treats everyone in a fair, equal manner. So the students may feel me teach appe, so they possess. So then regards the teacher as their own possession. Appe teacher, mage teacher, they will feel like that. Okay, part 3. Name 3 counseling skills that the teacher should possess when he or she works with students and explain how those skills will be useful. Give some examples. Tell one counseling skill.
Listening skills.
Yes, active listening. Nikhan listening, active listening, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
then, yeah. So then, how can it be useful? How can active listening be useful?
Teacher can understand the students in complete way,
So
their
then, when,
problems, their needs and all.
so when the teacher listens attentively to the problem, the teacher can understand the problem, right? Then another skill, the listening skill is one. Another skill,
Empathy.
empathy. Yes, empathy. Okay. So then, how
Teach-
can it be useful? Empathy.
Teacher can understand the student well.
Yes, understand the students well, right? Then student and their problems. Okay. Then what else? Empathy.
Non-judgment approach.
Non-judgmental approach. Yes. Then without a judgment, the teacher should help the client without any judgment. Then proper communication. If the teacher maintains proper communication, then the students will talk to the teacher. They will reveal the problems properly. Right. Okay.
Respect for confidentiality.
Yes, maintaining confidentiality of the information and maintaining, keeping respect to the child. Right. Okay, good. Right. Then earlier we talked about working with the students. Now we are talking about counselor working with parents or guardians, right? So then the role of parent is also very, very important in the lives of children because they impact a lot. Because sometimes students, their whole future becomes dark because of the parents, right? Because of the conflicts between the parents, ill treatments, abuse, right? So then school counselors need to collaborate with the parents for the betterment of the students. So sometimes for certain problems, they have to work with the parents, right? So then in the case of these psychological problems, they have to talk to the parents, advise them to behave in certain ways, right? So then they have to keep contacts with the collaborative effort. They have to help the child to overcome the problem. However, the role of the school counselor is not to provide family counseling. So he is not there to give family counseling, right? So when the child is suffering due to family problems, he is not going to give family counseling. So he can give only the only counseling for the child, and even he can advise the parents not to behave and think of the child, but he is not going to give family counseling. The main responsibility of the school counselor is to help in the personal, social, educational, and career development of the student. So he can organize workshops or seminars to help the students to overcome social problems, educational problems, career problems. Even he can talk to them privately regarding their personal problems, right? Okay. So then the school counselors provide parents with the necessary information related to education and careers of their children. So then sometimes if the child, imagine now the child drops out school from grade 10 and he's going to drive his father's three-wheeler. So then teacher can ask the parent or mother or father to come to school and make them aware about the avenues this child has. Like he can attend technical colleges, there are so many vocational training centers. So rather than wasting time, they can admit him to one of the seminar. I'm in a lecture. I'll call you later, right? Right. Okay. Right. So then the counselor should help the children with their personal problems, social problems, educational problems, career problems, as well as make the parents aware about the courses they can apply for, right? So if they can't spend money, there are certain places they can follow courses without spending much money and gain NVQ qualifications, right? So even when you become teachers also, if you are already teachers, you can do that, because most of the children, when they drop out school, they just idle, they waste their time without using it in a productive way. Even counselor can organize career guidance workshops for the students who are doing O-levels, A-levels, and those who need career guidance. The school counselor may not share personal or confidential information with the parents unless required. So then sometimes they may happen to reveal certain things to the parents because they are the guardians, they are the responsible people. But sometimes certain things may not reveal for the security of the children, right? Without revealing to the parents that they may find certain ways to overcome help them to overcome the problem. Working with colleagues and professional associates. The main aim of guidance and counseling services is to enhance the success of all learners, keeping the broader perspective of society in mind. So whatever it is, now the main aim of guidance and counseling is total personality development. Ultimately, this total personality development helps the society. We have more total personality. So finally, ultimately, it helps the society. So by keeping that aim in mind, so we have to help the individuals. The school counselor is responsible for maintaining and establishing relationship with school staff and several other service providers who work with students and the school. Right. So if you consider about school guidance and counseling unit, tell me what are the other service providers that they can make use of to make the children aware or to give certain services. Tell me some of the service providers that you can work with for the benefit of the students. Who are the other service providers?
Non-academic staffs.
That is in the school, but the outsiders. That's their duty is to support them, not that. If we consider about PHI, medical officer of health, right? So then we can invite them to make the students aware about health problems, home accidents, about hygiene, spread of non-communicable diseases. What else? Drug addiction. Or we can invite the police officers to make an awareness about drug addiction, how to use road rules. So like that. So these are outside people that we can make use of. Even we can invite a priest to give them a sermon, to conduct a meditation program. Even we can invite some experts in professional institutes to make them aware about several courses, how to apply for a job, how to face interviews, right? The school
programs.
Yes, okay, yes, motivational programs. Then what else? Motivational programs, then leadership programs.
Career guidance.
Career guidance. Right. The school counselors are required to work within the limits of the law and professional ethics. So we already emphasized about the ethics. There are certain ethics in guidance and counseling. We talked about them. So can you name some of the ethics? Matakada? Do you remember certain ethics? So maintain the secrecy of the problems revealed.
Confidentiality.
Yeah, confidentiality. Then counselor should not ask for any monetary or so any presents or money or sexual gain from the counselor. So what are the others? Ethics in counseling.
Not judge.
Okay,
Come
not,
to
yes, not
judgmental.
judging the person. And another thing is, now if the counselor is giving treatment to the client, it's the responsibility of the counselor to make the client aware about that. treatments so that is the right of the client to know. Right. The other one is that if the counselor cannot help the clients anymore, what should the counselor do?
Within the boundaries, he wants to counseling.
He can stop and refer the individual to an expert counselor or doctor, even the psychiatrist, right? Expert counselor. Okay, right, good. Working with the school and community. The school counselors act as educators as well as counselors. So normally in a school, these counselors are teachers. Teachers means those who have followed a professional course, especially those who have postgraduate qualifications. So after a degree, the teachers, they follow a postgraduate diploma. In that postgraduate diploma, guidance and counseling is a part of it, right? One subject. So then those who have postgraduate qualifications are selected as counselors. They are given a proper training. Then apart from the timetable, that means they have to teach, they can't only give counseling in the school. Apart from the certain periods are released from the teacher, and during that time, teacher has to act as a counselor for the students, right? They help students in guiding for activities and offer counseling services. So sometimes they have to help them for certain activities, and they have to offer counseling for their problems. So they have to be both guide and counselor. The counselor must keep the counseling service separately from education. So now when the teacher has work in the timetable, should go to class and teach. Then teacher should have a separate time for giving counseling. Class counseling then, so there should be a separate place for giving counseling. Why it is not good to give counseling in the classroom? In classroom, so what will happen if I talk to that child? I told you before, if I talk to the child in the classroom, so I call her. Puta, so what's your problem? Why do you behave like this? If I talk in front of all the others, what will happen?
The student affect individually.
Yes, it may affect for her personality. The child may feel ashamed, right? So that feel inferiority, complex, right? Okay. So we should not do that. So we have to do it in a separate place. The counselor may offer personal counseling to the students and may teach certain skills that may help them to face educational challenges. Sometimes that certain skills are given by the counselor. Skills maybe that related to certain, skills filling the CV, facing an interview, how to find jobs from the sources. the role of the counselor is to integrate guidance and counseling services to address school and community needs. So then a counselor has to use both guidance and counseling for the school as well as for the community needs. The school counselor with the staff should develop guidance and counseling programs that align with the goals and mission of the school. Now imagine the goal is to produce competent, productive citizens of the country. අපි තුමේ ඒගොල්ලන් goal එක ඒක. දක්ෂ, ඵලදායී පුරවැසියෝ බිහි කිරීම. તો දක්ෂ ඵලදායී වෙන්න නම් මොකද වෙන්න ඕනි? So they ඒතකොට එක එක ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනට දක්ෂ ඵලදායී වෙන්න බෑනේ. So therefore counselor has to give guidance and counseling in order to achieve these goals and mission of the school. When developing the counseling and guidance plan, school counselor should identify the needs, implements. Can't see this. All right. When developing the counseling and the guidance plan, school counselor should identify the needs and implements the program. Programs then monitor and adjust the program to cater to the development needs of the student, right? So then after that, monitor, adjust these programs to cater to the needs of the student. We should cater to the needs of the students. So to monitor, adjust the program, you can organize, you can implement the programs for the betterment of the students, and you have to monitor it and adjust the program to cater to the developmental needs of the students. Right. Then, okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. Okay. Consultation support provided. School counselors are professional staff members. They are professional staff members, teachers, right, who work with other teachers and professionals to help learners succeed and adjust to their learning environment. So then, counselor cannot work alone. So when organizing programs, he or she can't do it alone. They need the support of the rest of the staff members. Then sometimes they need the support of some other professionals, some experts to succeed and adjust their learning environment, students' learning environment. School counselors provide education, guidance, and counseling to all students and carry out activities such as direct instructions, guidance education, team teaching, group and individual counseling, group counseling and individual counseling. Students support team planning, so they can organize these kind of activities, right? Okay. Then, did you receive the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
With that, did you receive another Word document?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay. Now what you have to do is, now I thought of doing it in groups, but anyway, that since the facility is not here for breakout rooms, you have to do it individually. You read that article, the one I have sent. So it is about the similarities and differences of guidance and counseling. So you read it carefully. I will give you 15 minutes, right? Read carefully. First, 10 minutes came 15 10 minutes. So then first you write similarities for both. Then differences, guidance, and difference about the counseling, right? So now if we consider about a similarity, they are both are branches of psychology. So the differences, guidance guidance can be given by anybody, but counseling should be given by a trained counselor. So like that, read that article, read that piece of writing, and first you write the similarities, then you write the differences. Can you do that? Okay.
Yes, miss.
Okay, right. 10 minutes, right? So then we will discuss after that. Do it. Everybody should engage. I will ask individually. If you do that, you will remember. That's why. Rather than just listening to my voice. Okay, shall we? Could you do some work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Now I wrote one, both. Okay, tell me one similarity.
Both are help individuals in finding the best solutions to their problems in life.
Okay, wait, I will write. Okay, another one.
Both are moving to self-realization and self-empowerment.
Okay, there. Tell both are.
Moving towards self-realization and self-empowerment.
Okay, wait, I will take this down. Okay, right. Another one.
The main aim of these guidance and the counseling is overall development of an individual.
Mhm. Both are involved with the overall, with the overall
Development
development of an
of
individual.
an individual.
Right. Are there some more similarities? Could you find some other similarities? Okay. Differences. Tell me one difference.
Counseling is an inward analysis, whereas guidance is an external analysis.
Counseling is an
Inward analysis. The counselor makes the client understand the problem and it goes deep, whereas the guidance is an external analysis.
okay. Any other findings?
That guidance is provided by any person superior or expert.
Can be provided by any person. Counseling.
Superior or expert.
Superior.
Counseling is a person provided by the possess high-level skill of and professional training.
Counseling is given by
High level of skill and professional training.
right. Okay. Another one.
Counseling is mostly done for personal and social issues, whereas guidance is given for education and career related problems.
Okay.
Guidance is usually provided for
Guidance is. I couldn't hear you.
Guidance is usually provided for education and career-related problems.
Okay. Whereas
Counseling provided for personal and social issues.
okay, right?
Counseling will take lot of sessions.
Ah. Okay. Guidance.
It's a short period.
Okay. We'll take a short period. Okay. Any other differences?
Yeah, ma'am.
Guidance.
Wait, give me 1 minute. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Tell me about guidance again. Right, guidance. Here, counseling. Right. Okay. Tell another one.
Ma'am, cordial and satisfying relationship is needed for the counseling, but for the
Cordial.
guidance, cordial and satisfying relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Counseling.
Shall we just tell like
A trustworthy relationship.
yes, yes.
Okay. Another one.
That
Guidance does not
is
lead to self-discovery.
Guidance is.
Guidance does not lead to self-discovery.
Okay. Counseling.
Leads to what may be termed as self-discovery.
Okay. Another one.
that is guidance is comprehensive and extroverted approach.
Okay.
Counsel in-depth and introverted approach.
Okay. Good.
That guidance in the decision making by the guide. In counseling, decision making by counseling or
Good.
client.
Okay. See, right. Okay, good. Next one.
Counseling helps to tackle future problems, but when it's come to guidance, it's only the current situation.
Counseling.
Counseling helps to tackle the future problems,
Okay.
and guidance is a solution for the current situation. Switch the answer.
Hmm. Okay.
Ma'am, that
Guidance gives
counseling
no place to feelings.
Amata, guidance.
Gives no place to feelings.
Uh-huh. Okay. Counseling.
Place emphasis on both learning and feelings.
No, that I wrote that does not need a special place for giving guidance. Okay, what did you say?
Gives no place to feelings.
Guidance, ne?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Mm. How can I add some more cells for this? It doesn't allow. Right. What are the others?
Ma'am, when we are taking privacy,
Hmm?
the guidance is open and less private.
Okay.
Counseling is confidential.
Okay. Okay. I will take another cell. Okay. About guidance, what did you say?
When we are taking privacy, guidance is open and less private.
Okay. The next one.
Counseling is confidential.
My goodness. Okay, wait. Open and less private. Counseling is
Confidential.
okay. Any other?
Better perception of the problem brings behavioral changes in counseling, but in guidance, we didn't see any behavioral changes.
Okay. Here that in counseling, the individual is allowed to understand the problem and find a solution. Did you discuss about that? Individual is allowed to understand the problem. The problem and what's that? Find a solution. The other one? Ready-made solutions are given. Okay, any other? The counseling process gives the client the upper hand and makes the client strong enough to tackle his, okay, you told that, right? Okay. Guidance is a process that involves listening to the problem. Okay, did we cover all? The process of guidance can be repeated several times, right? Can you tell a similar thing for counseling? Again, guidance is an integral part of counseling. Counseling වල අත්‍යවශ්‍ය එකක් තමයි guidance කියලා කියන්නේ. What else?
Guidance is something commonly given. It can be given commonly, but the counseling is specific.
Okay. Any other?
Ma'am, guidance can be given, I mean, in a group, or yeah, the guidance can be given as a group, but counseling should be given,
To an
I mean,
individual.
should be taken, yeah, one-to-one.
Okay. Right. So then there are so many that you can just read, and at home you find some more differences and similarities in guidance and counseling. So I think that it's a good activity, né? That even at now itself that you could, rather than I explain, you could get a good insight about this. So there you can read more and find some more similarities. Then there's one similarity: guidance and counseling go hand in hand. We can't separate them. They both go hand in hand. That means we can't separate guidance from counseling, right? Okay, hand in hand. So like that, find some more similarities and differences and complete the graph, right? So then there's one more part we also can do next day like this, the last part of this unit, and we will start the next unit next week, the other day, right? Okay, thank you very much for your cooperation.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, Buddha.
Can you show the 16th slide again?
Okay.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Even I can use a slideshow.
Can you send this Word document, ma'am?
What is that?
Can you send this Word document, ma'am, with these answers?
Which Word document?
This one.
This one? Okay, right.
The answers, can you send me yours? ma'am?
Okay, okay, that's great. I'll send. Okay, I will send this. Right, then you find some more, right? You find some more from this article. I will add some more and send you, right? So you can find some more from the internet and find from this article and complete, right? Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you for your support. And I think that you had a good session today. Okay, we'll meet again. Okay.
Thank you, Miss. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good night.
Good night.